list. We have 2 of them completed and 2 of them about half completed to be completed this next week, the end of a major milestone. Milestone number 7 is the rough red brick, which is on the northern and southern faces of both the lantern buildings, as well as on the corners of the lower level to the northeast and to the southeast. The rough red brick has joints that are left largely unfinished, so that when it's whitewashed in the spring, it will match the rough white walls that we see throughout.
You tell this guy is thorough?
Tying in these 2 lantern buildings to the rest of campus. Milestone number 8, aluminum window frames. There's 500 linear feet of glass along the lake edge of the library. As we're shooting this, they're 1 day away from this aluminum framing being along that whole stretch, preparing for the glass to be inserted the week of Thanksgiving, effectively drying in the lower level of the building. Milestone number 9, prefabricated and poured concrete sack rub finish. We have a lot of exposed concrete throughout this project, and over the last few weeks we've seen the touch-up of those pieces to give them this wonderful sack rub finish that pulls it all together and makes it look smooth and unblemished. Milestone number 10 is the Dunes armor sheathing that's being used inside the lantern buildings as the last layer of the lasagna, as we called it in an earlier video, the various layers that make up the insulated roof of each of these lantern buildings. This waterproof sheathing protects the layers above it from taking on moisture from inside of the building. Milestone number 11, mechanical rough-ins. The heating, ventilating, and air conditioning systems continue to be installed above me, with the rest of the venting staged behind me. The conduit that carries the electrical and data largely roughed in this first area of the expansion. And importantly, at this point in the project, the plumbing for the fire suppression system complete, with the black trunk lines running throughout the building, and at the end of the feeder lines, the flexible tubing with the sprinkler heads. We hope this tour around the construction site to see these 11 construction milestones will be helpful in
I actually want to pause right here because this is an important view. This is the historic current library building, okay? And what's going to happen is there's a walkway that's going to be built out to this new section. And what's going to happen is this whole layer, basically right at ground level here, is going to be the new library. We'll keep the existing one as well and make it part of the new library, but this is going to be all the new space. There are also upper levels here, and this is all glass, basically, on both of those sides to let light into that lower level. And that's why he calls them the lantern buildings, the way it's been set up architecturally. Everything matches, from the roof tile to the brickwork, everything matches the existing Saarinen layout, so it's going to look like it's original by the time it gets done with. Because they did that, the project was a bit pricier than it needed to be in terms of they wanted to go with something a little more cost effective, but they did want to keep the architecture very pure, and I'm sure Alden Bida would be pleased.
We feel the same way about this church.
Okay, well that's enough for that. I wanted to give you just the most recent update on the library project. Yeah.
In the library, they are building, as part of the library, an actual pastor's study. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yep.
And so when my husband donated boxes and boxes and boxes of books, they said that they would go through and be assured that many of his books will be represented on the shelves in this library. So we'll be very anxious to, it will be set up just like you would be going into a pastor's office, the ideal maybe pastor's office.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yes, the idea is, yes, they will be setting up a mock-up pastor's office there. The idea being that, it's not just seminary students who go to this library. It's people, actually, Lutherans from all over the country visit this place. It is a mecca for Lutheran materials And we have some very old resources there and a lot of things for research papers. So you might have a Lutheran pastor who's studying for his PhD at Georgetown or something like that, but he'll be coming to Fort Wayne to check out some books. So anyway, you can go there then and look at this ideal pastor's library, get an idea of what books maybe you yourself could benefit from and jot some of their titles down as well. Yeah, it's just one of the, they have space to do things like this now as well. Yeah. All right, I'm done if you have no more questions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for having me.